Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 239, would you believe? So what are we making today? Oh my goodness, let me just double check what we are making. We are making faux envelope flip downs. I always have to double check what I did call them. So faux envelope flip downs today. So this is one of them. Okay, so I can remember when I first started making journals and I would see people make loads of these and put them into their journals. And I always wondered how you'd make them. I mean, actually, in hindsight, they're really, really simple. And maybe I was just being really hopeless. But yeah, absolutely love, love, love them. And they're just very tactile, very gorgeous pieces. They can obviously be glued in or tucked in or paper clipped on, you know, a whole variety of different ways that you can use them. So they're a really, really nice piece to use. So if you would like to mass make along with us today to make these faux envelope flip downs for your junk journals, what will you need? So you will need some paper. Now I've got a variety of different papers here, and I say this every week, I've got digitals. That's because that's what I predominantly have these days. You do not have to use digitals. You can use whatever you've got. The only thing that I would say is probably it's better not to use paper that's too thick. Equally, copy paper would be okay. Just be aware that, you know, it may tear with, you know, not prolonged, but, you know, lots of folding in and out and things. So my paper happens to be 120 GSM and it's presentation paper thickness. So it's, you know, it's quite nice quality paper. The only other thing that I would say is I would recommend coffee dye in the back or using a double-sided paper, just because obviously when you open your envelope, you're going to see the inside of it. So if you're going to use a double-sided paper rather than coffee dyed, just try and maybe use something that's palish or plainish on the back so that you could journal there. If obviously you use something that's highly patterned and, you know, not going to be journalable, then you may need to stick, you know, just some plain sort of sheets of paper, you know, something like kind of, I mean, obviously not that, but yeah, kind of cut down bits of paper to stick on each one of your surfaces. Obviously, that's all going to kind of extend the length of time it takes to make each piece. So you might want to kind of, you know, avoid doing that and actually just use double-sided paper. So you're going to need paper, that's the paper, some scissors or / a paper trimmer or guillotine or whatever if you like to use those. You may need a bone folder. I personally will use my scissor handles to squish my pieces down, but whichever you prefer. And then you may want to have some distress ink to ink around the edges of your pieces, so with a blending tool. And then these are optional things now, so you may want to have a glue on hand to glue your envelope flaps down. Again, that is optional. You know, sometimes I have them glued down, sometimes I just have them unfoldable, so completely up to you. If you're using glue, I like to use the Anita's tacky glue. It's a PVA based glue, and you know, I just find that that works really nicely. Just mop my glue up here. So that's the kind of glue that I would opt for. Then aside from that, you may want to have some things to decorate your pieces with. So I've got a bunch of different things here. I've got some paper clips to kind of hold my envelopes closed if I wanted to use paper clips. I've got some wax seals that I've done ready made to, you know, potentially put on the flaps. I've got some gems here again to potentially put on the flaps. I've got some flowers, I've got some bows. And then I've got some fussy cuts and things that again, you know, I may like to decorate with, you know, all just optional things that, you know, may or may not look nice. And then I've got some other, you know, labels and what have you that I might like to use to decorate with. Aside from that, you could use Velcro dots if you didn't want to use like a paper clip or anything. You could actually Velcro dot your envelope flap closed. Completely optional. All of these things are completely optional. Or you may like to just use your paper and your scissors and just make the basic piece right now and then decorate it when you come to use it. So completely and utterly up to you how you want to kind of finish yours off. So I'm going to demonstrate how to make these in the first place, and then we will you know, relax and have a nice time just mass making these. So I've got some paper here. Now this is from my hyacinth papers. Just trying to think then what papers they were. My hyacinth papers. Now, obviously these are offcuts that I've got here, so they're not quite half an A4 sheet, but they're pretty much, you know, thereabouts. So I'm just going to fold that in half. If you're using a complete A4 sheet, so like this, an A4 here in the UK, it's very similar to the US letter size, then you could fold it in half like that, and then you can fold it in half again, and that will make quite nice sized envelope flip downs. So if you're using a complete sheet, you would get 4 of the envelope flip downs from your, you know, your folded sheet. Like I say, these actually, as it happens, I just happen to have a bunch of paper that I had already cut in half for something else. So these are going to work perfectly. I will just cut them, you know, in half, and they're going to obviously work really nicely. I will try and remember to tell you the papers that I'm using. But yeah, so I'm going to take this paper and just then trim this down. Like that. Okay. Just to give you a sort of, you know, rough idea, that's approximately 3 inches wide. So yeah, and then what you're going to want to do is, if your paper is directional, you know, i.e. it's got a sort of upside down and a right way up, then you're going to want to flip your paper so it's upside down to you, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to fold it like, or flip it over like that, and then the upside down part is the part closest to me, and I start by just folding in my envelope flaps. Okay, so just like that. And again, you know, you can just kind of eyeball these. They don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be exactly the same. You know, if they're kind of slightly wonky, it all doesn't really matter. And then what you want to do is fold your envelope up. Now this is the trickiest part that I find, is trying to get it approximately, you know, the right sort of size. So just again, judge it by eye, and just then fold that up like that. And then you can squish the whole thing down with your bone folder or your scissor handles like that. And then, like I say, it's up to you. You could even leave these, you know, unfoldable, and then they're quite cute for, you know, sort of secret journaling, I suppose. But if you wanted to glue them down, you could obviously glue them down. I always like to keep a dried wet wipe on hand to just mop out any excess glue. So just going to do that there like that. And then, to be honest, you know, they're very gorgeous just on their own, aren't they? They look really, really super nice. You know, you could then grab a paper clip and just kind of clip it closed, you know, clip that onto a page, clip it into a pocket, you know, however you want. Or, you know, you could finish it off by putting maybe like a wax seal or something onto the envelope flap. I mean, that looks pretty lovely, doesn't it? Just see what other ones I've bought along. I mean, to be honest, lots of these look very pretty, don't they? So yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of spoilt for choice. I've got here some gems. Now, I'm not saying that these are quite the right colours, but, you know, again, you could finish it off with a gem, could finish it off with, you know, a bow or something. Completely up to you. I've got these gorgeous flowers. Oh gosh, not that one. Not the right colour. But, you know, if I search through the box, I'm sure I've got one that's a better colour. Maybe something like that. You could pop that onto the flap or whatever. And then you could obviously put your Velcro dots under there, and it would be a, you know, sealed up kind of faux envelope. Completely up to you how you do them. But loads and loads of different looks that you can achieve with these. So they're very, very, very cute, aren't they? So that's all there is to those. I will just demonstrate one more. Obviously, they're not very difficult. So, you know, it's not kind of going to take 2 seconds to just demonstrate again. So again, you've got your paper. And what you want to do is take your paper, again, if it's directional, upside down to you. So like that. And then fold my envelope flaps in like that. Hello, gorgeous. I'm just saying hello to Bo, who's come in to join us. She's getting into her bed now. So, yep, she's been in my bed so far, but she's just come in to join us here, so she's now in her bed beside me. So fold your flaps like that, and then again take your envelope, you know, and it doesn't have to be kind of like right up here, you know, you could do it kind of with a bit of a space like I've got here, and then obviously you'd have more of a, you know, line on your envelope flap, just kind of, you know, however takes your fancy. And then just again squish that down like that. Again, just glue our flaps down like that. Okie dokie. Whoops. Like that. There we go. Like that. Aren't they just so gorgeous? I absolutely love them. Just before we kind of go on to mass making these, I would just demonstrate that you could also do them slightly wider than this. So for example, this is my roses collection paper. I'm going to fold this into thirds just to demonstrate slightly kind of bigger ones. So again, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything, but fold your paper into thirds, and then we can just snip this down. So like that. Okie dokie. Oops. Oh my goodness. Unsteady hands. Like that. And then take your piece. Again, we're going to have it upside down to us. So like this. And then for your envelope flap, rather than kind of go straight, you know, right in, you could even kind of like do it slightly wider like this. You know, that's also going to be really nice. So what you're aiming to do is kind of line up your bottom folds, if you see what I mean. And that way your diagonals will be more or less the same size. So it's really your bottom that wants to be kind of levelish. But like I say, don't get too kind of het up with or caught up with, are they, you know, are they particularly even? It really doesn't matter. And then because this is obviously a much bigger piece of paper, rather than have a really skinny narrow one, just fold it up once and then fold your envelope flap down like that. And there you've got obviously a much bigger envelope like that. So adjust them kind of according to the size of your paper. Oops. Again, just kind of glue my envelope flaps down like that. Okay. And just, you know, just have fun with them. And yeah, just kind of do them, you know, however they kind of turn out, to be honest. I think you can be really adventurous with these and get lots and lots of different looks, and yeah, kind of go wild with them, really, to be honest. I think you can get loads of different looks and things going on. So that's the larger one. So we're just going to literally mass make these. And so for the mass making, what I like to do generally is all the stages in one go, like an assembly line. So for example, this, I'm going to just do all my cutting like that. So in fact, that one I'd already folded, so that one's now cut. But what I'm going to actually do, I think, is all my folding first and then all my cutting. So being even more efficient, hopefully. So, you know, I only then pick up my scissors minimal times, rather than picking up my scissors, putting them down, picking them up, putting them down. I just then fold my pieces straight in, and we'll just relax and have a nice time now, have a catch up, and yeah, hopefully just have a really super productive, you know, next like 45-50 minutes or whatever. So yeah, I hope everybody's week has started out well. For those people who don't watch my channel, I'll trim this one up when I do the cutting. I generally film these videos on a Monday to go up for you guys on the Tuesday, so my week's literally only just that second started. What's it doing out there? Well, weirdly, it looks a bit like the sun's trying to come out. Yeah, strange appearance out there, actually, now I've looked up. I haven't looked up until now, but yeah, looks a little bit like the sun's trying to come out. I don't know what the weather forecast what the weather is forecast to do today. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's not really going to be scorching hot or anything as we're now in November, but you know, as long as it's dry, that would be good. And I will tell you which papers I've used in a second, because I realised that I promised to do that and I now haven't. So what have I been up to? Well, not a lot again. I say this every week. My gosh, my life is so boring. I could do with just doing some stuff so I've got more interesting tales to tell you, because it must be pretty boring listening to my boring life, really. But well, mainly my life's revolving around, you know, not doing a lot but watching TV. Now the other thing that I'm going to try and do actually is I'm going to try and do one just cut more or less in half, so slightly bigger than the, you know, taking the paper into thirds. We'll do it kind of not quite in half, because then that would be the width of a journal page, but maybe kind of like this. So we'll just try one out like that first before we get carried away, because it might not really look very good being so ginormous. So I'm just going to cut my papers down now. So this is my Yellow Roses paper. At this point I will now tell you the papers that I've used. So yeah, so I have watched quite a few things that I could recommend. This is also the Yellow Roses, that I would recommend this week. So probably one of the best things that I watched was I watched a film on Netflix. It was with Kate Winslet in it, and you know, I really enjoy watching Kate Winslet. She's a very watchable actress, isn't she? And I did recognise the man in it, but I couldn't tell you who he is, I'm afraid. But he was quite nice to watch. Anyway, it was called Labour Day. Now, I hadn't ever heard of the film before. I haven't seen it advertised. I don't think it went to the cinema. If it did, I certainly missed it and didn't see anything about it. I think maybe it was just a kind of made for Netflix type of movie. Anyway, it was really good. It was basically a love story. Didn't kind of, these two were my butterfly collection papers. Yeah, it was a love story, and it didn't kind of look like it was going to be a love story, but that's what it was, and it was just a really nice film. This is my Autumn's Upon Us papers, and this is my sewing collection papers. Now the sewing collection, I do have them in various colours. I think I have pinks and neutrals and blues and greens, I think. I can't actually remember, I'm afraid, but this one is the blues, this one is from the pinks. So yeah, that's just to give you an idea of those. Yeah, it was a love story, and basically there is a fugitive, and he kind of basically ends up going to stay with Kate Winslet and her son, kind of like, you know, he takes her son, I say takes him hostage, I mean, not really, to be honest. I mean, I guess he did at the beginning, but yeah, and kind of worms his way into their house, and you know, he's on the run, he's a convicted murderer, and you know, so by all accounts you think he's going to be very terrifying at first. I'm just going to do one in my new Avery papers because I just fancied using these. So yeah, I had printed these off and I just thought, oh, actually quite like to use one of these. So I'm going to try one of those larger ones again. So let's do it that sort of size. Yeah, so he gets his way into their house, and obviously at this point I didn't realise it was going to be a love story, and sort of thought, you know, well, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it might have turned out to be like some sort of, you know, thrillery sort of horror type thing. Anyway, lovely, lovely, lovely story. They fall in love, and yeah, I won't tell you everything because it will, you know, just ruin it, obviously, if you're likely to watch it. Now, remember what I said, that we're going to turn these upside down to face us to do the envelope flaps. So that's what I'm going to do, is turn them upside down and then to face us like this. Okay, and I'm just going to do the envelope flaps, I think, first, and then we'll do all the folds up. So upside down and facing us. Yeah, I won't tell you quite kind of what happens in the end, but it's a really, really, really lovely film. So, you know, I just really enjoyed watching it. And funnily enough, my son was out with his friend whilst I was watching it. It was on Friday night, and they came home at some point. So upside down and facing me. They came home at some point to, I don't know whether they came home to get changed or, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I was kind of taking my makeup off, and it was quite late at night by that point. I say late, it was probably like 9:30, but that was quite late for me. So I wasn't really kind of like, you know, at my best. I was kind of like tired and, you know, just, yeah, falling asleep. But they came in and I was like, oh my goodness, you know, you must watch this film. It's so good. So yeah, was clearly really enjoyed the film. So yeah, really good. Labor Day, Netflix, really would recommend it. So that's definitely a good recommendation. What else did I watch? Watch something else that I thought, right, the other one that I watched that I would say was good. In fact, a couple of things. So the first one was I watched, it was a series. This is my Totally Dotty collection papers, as was the last piece. And sorry, yes, this is my Avery collection in the duck egg and pink. So yeah, this is the Avery collection in the blues. The other thing that, yeah, I watched was a series on Netflix, and it was called The Burning Girls. Now, again, weirdly, when I first started watching it, I thought, oh, this is going to be a horror. And it was a series. And I said to my son, he likes a horror film and a, you know, sort of thriller and things like that. And I said to him, oh my goodness, I've just started watching a horror series. And now, sounds weird, I've never really watched a horror series. I mean, they have thrillery type series, don't they? Series. I never know whether that's the, you know, the plural or of the word series. I don't know. But anyway, excuse my terrible grammar there. So, yeah, I've never watched a horror series. You can kind of like, you know, there's lots of thrillers and all of that kind of stuff, but not really horrors. So, you know, kind of at first I thought, oh, how exciting. This is like a new genre of a series. Anyway, turned out it wasn't really a horror at all. It was, would I call it a thriller? I don't know whether I would call it a thriller, to be honest. I suppose a bit of a thriller. Yeah, probably a bit of a thriller. Yeah, probably a thriller. Series. I think there were 5 episodes, called The Burning Girls. Again, I really, really enjoyed it. And I binge watched it in just like a couple of evenings. So it was, yeah, it was pretty good, to be honest. So I would recommend that. Definitely would recommend that. What else did I watch? I watched something else that right. The other thing that I watched that I really, really enjoyed was the documentary called Martha. So this was the documentary of Martha Stewart. So this was a film, you know, they'd done the documentary in sort of a film format, really. And it was really long. It was like 2 hours long, I think. So, yeah, again, I thought, oh, you know, I'm not sure what they're going to, you know, cover in like 2 hours. That seemed a long time, you know. Oh, my goodness. Now, Martha Stewart, obviously, now, I don't want to just make sweeping statements here because obviously I'm here in the UK and I don't think Martha Stewart has had maybe the same success or recognition here as she's had in the US. And, you know, please correct me if I'm wrong, but please go gently on me. I'm just showing my ignorance. If she has, I apologise. I'm not in any way, you know, I wasn't meaning that as a criticism or anything else. I don't think, you know, she was quite the same. You know, I don't mean she tried and failed in the UK. I just kind of mean that actually, you know, a bit like crafting, it's not so big over here as it is in other places. I mean, particularly the US, obviously crafting is very, very popular. And obviously she was like a homemaker and, you know, all these different things. I'm not sure that we were ready for her at the stage where she became very successful in the US, if that makes sense. So, you know, but yeah, Anyway, but I mean, of course, you know, I've heard of her, and of course I've got my lovely Martha Stewart punch. Can't actually see it now, but you know, my Martha Stewart butterfly punch that I, you know, use very often. Well, not that often, but you know, I use it from time to time. Love my Martha Stewart punch, and that's the only Martha Stewart punch I have, which is why I always just refer to it as, oh, my Martha Stewart punch. I'm sure she did different designs. Anyway, oh my goodness, she has led the most fascinating life, and wow, she is so successful and like such an entrepreneur, basically. So it was such an inspirational story. Sorry, I'm just fidgeting around on my chair and trying to, I sit with like a sort of blanket underneath my legs because I like to kneel up, and yeah, my legs were just beginning to hurt a little bit on the chair. So yeah, she basically, you know, got this just incredible like work ethic and entrepreneurial skill, and oh wow, I mean, just so fascinating. And I am probably repeating things that maybe a lot of you already know. I personally didn't really know anything about her, you know, and how she kind of got started or anything like that. But I mean, she literally was a self-starter, you know, kind of built her way up. And she started out as a model. She worked for, I think, a couple of years on Wall Street. She then went into like the catering business. What else did she do? All different things. And you know, she bought out a magazine, and I mean, really entrepreneurial, and just the best ideas person ever. I mean, she just really came out with like the most fantastic ideas, and then would kind of pursue you know, like publishing companies. You know, she went to like Rupert Murdoch, and I think she got like her deal, I think, for her magazine was with Time magazine, you know, and she just had a vision of what she wanted it to be. And you know, even though they maybe felt, oh well, I'm not sure there's really kind of much of a market for that, she pursued her, you know, stuck with her vision of what she felt the magazine, you know, should be and what the market needed, and you know, ended up publishing this fantastic magazine that, I mean, I forget all the stats, but you know, was one of the most successful magazines ever, or I don't know, something you know, along those lines. But wow, it was just incredible. And the funniest thing is, like, every single thing that she turned her hand to, she just was so successful at, and so brilliant. I mean, I'm talking in past tense, and of course, you know, I shouldn't be talking in past tense. I'm sure she's probably doing things now. I'm not sure, you know, personally what she is up to now, but yeah, I'm sure she's doing other things now, because she's very you know, business minded and things like that, and she obviously is, you know, I'm sure doing other things. Like I say, we don't necessarily hear about her here in the UK, and I apologize again if that's not the case and I've just kind of got that way off the mark. You know, I just personally hadn't really been up to date with what she had been up to. So I'm just going to fold my pieces up now. Anyway, so I so enjoyed that, and yeah, I watched that on like Saturday afternoon, and yeah, just was like taken aback really with her fantastic kind of, just her fantastic vision really, and you know, all of that really. And I mean, obviously she ended up, you know, she served time in prison, and she went to prison, I think, for like insider trading. And you know, kind of obviously, I mean, that must be a terrifying thing to endure, you know, going to prison. And of course, you know, that must have been horrendous for her. But what really was the thing that came out of it was that even when she went to prison, she turned that round to be like almost, I'm not saying a success in prison, but you know, she was then like holding like seminars for women in prison, you know, other prisoners, of how they could build success in companies and, you know, in their lives and all this kind of stuff. So you know, even in prison, she had the foresight and the kind of, you know, the vision and, you know, yeah, like made a success even of being in prison. So just very, very, very inspirational lady. Now, can you see what I've done with these? I've done them wrong, I think. So yeah, I've got these now upside down, but never mind. We'll just kind of go with it anyway. Yeah, so that was just really good. So, you know, share below. Have you watched the Martha documentary? What did you think to it? Did you love it? I mean, do you know kind of a lot about her? Am I correct in any of what I said? I mean, like literally anything that I said, or I got it all completely wrong, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'd love to hear kind of if you've got more knowledge of her, and I think, you know, that would be really awesome to hear. But yeah, just really fascinating watch, really. So, you know, and I just was sort of in awe, really, of her ability to literally turn her hand to so many different skills, you know, Wall Street, modelling, you know, cooking, you know, the magazine kind of publishing business, even the being in prison, you know, she managed to make a success of. So yeah, incredible lady, really. So, and hey, I mean, if you know, what does she do nowadays? Like, is she, you know, is she still kind of active, like making, I don't know, like, you know, I don't know, does she still make, I don't think she still makes craft things. I don't know whether she does or not, but I think she was at one point, she would make like bedding and all sorts of things for like, stocking in like Kmart and all of those kinds of shops and things. So yeah, I'd love to hear whether she's still kind of doing things like that. Now, can you see I've gone completely wrong with these and I'm doing them upside down, so I feel really cross with myself, to be honest. You know, I forgot my own rule there with the doing them upside down. So let me just try and turn this one up, because they're beginning to annoy me now. Being all of them upside down is pretty shoddy, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed that. The other one that I watched that I quite liked is I watched the documentary called Sly. That was about Sylvester Stallone. Again, now I'm a really big Sylvester Stallone fan, and I know that I've talked about him before, and I'm not saying that he's everybody's cup of tea. I think he's a bit of a kind of, again, I'm going to have to just do this because it's so annoying that I've done that upside down. I think he's a bit of a Marmite. You know, people kind of, well, I was going to say love him or hate him. Actually, I'm not sure that anyone really doesn't like him. Maybe he's just, I don't know what the other thing to Marmite would be. The thing that everybody likes. I don't know. Honey? Jam? I don't know. Yeah, anyway, he's that more, I think. I think everybody really likes him. And, you know, I think he's quite popular in Hollywood. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I've read kind of scandals or anything like that about him. And, I mean, I Googled him and I think it said he's 76 now, which, I mean, that's, you know, quite, you know, he's been around for quite a long time in Hollywood, if you see what I mean, you know, because 76. And certainly, I mean, the whole of my life, really, that I remember, he's been, you know, doing films. Yeah, so, I mean, to have never heard a kind of scandal or anything like that about him is, you know, pretty awesome, isn't it? And I feel like, you know, he seems like he's quite popular and quite well liked and, you know, quite well thought of and things. So, yeah, I watched that documentary called Sly. Again, that was a really good documentary. And I feel like I might have even watched it before, so I apologise if I'm talking about it. Oh, look, done that one the wrong way up again. I apologise if I've talked about it before, because I feel like I possibly have watched it before. But I wasn't quite sure. That's probably because I hardly ever just watch TV doing nothing. If I'm watching TV, I'm generally perhaps crafting or, like, you know, making digis and things like that on my laptop. So I'm often missing the programs, you know. And so, yeah, I really do apologise, because I possibly have watched it before and I'm now just rambling on about something that I've rambled on about previously. So I do apologise. Look, I've done it again. It's Isn't that annoying? So what I might have to do is after this, just quickly iron out the bottoms of the paper where I've had to unfold them, just so as I get those creases out. It's really annoying. There we go. So yeah, lots and lots of things that I have watched this week. I mean, wow. Must have watched a lot of hours of Netflix this week, clearly. What else have I done? Well, not a lot, to be honest. But the good news is there's 3 things come out this week that I would like to watch at the cinema. So, yeah, didn't go to the cinema at all last week. There wasn't anything really, that I fancied watching. So this week there's now 3 things. So they're like buses, aren't they? Nothing on for ages, and then suddenly everything's on at once. Oh my goodness, I've done it again. Folded it up the wrong way again. What is wrong with me? Oh, just annoying myself, to be honest. So there is a film called Heretic. So this is with Hugh Grant. Now, again, Hugh Grant, he's probably a bit one of those Marmite type people, isn't he? I think, again, people really like him or, don't tend to like him. I personally do like him. I find him very funny. I find him very watchable. Not necessarily attractive. He's not necessarily someone, who I think is like, what you would call easy on the eye. Well, he's okay. But yeah, I find him watchable more than anything. And anyway, he's turned his hand this time to a horror film. So this film Heretic looks really quite good. I've watched the trailer. He has some people knock on his door to offer him a Bible study, and he invites them in, and then kind of, yeah, well, I'm not quite sure because I haven't watched it, but anyway, all is not what it seems when they obviously enter his house, and I think he must end up kind of locking them in there and trapping them in there, and yeah, anyway, it looks very good. And I read like a sort of interview with, like, I don't know whether it was the director, and they said, wow, Hugh Grant was so brilliant in this film. So, because he's still got his normal Hugh Grant style, but he's taken it to this different level or different dimension with the whole, creepy kind of edge. So this one, I'm just going to show you how this would look if you did like narrow little folds. Oh, it's not quite narrow enough. Narrow little folds like that. Just to show you that, you really can kind of chop these and change them about. So like that. And then the flap come down like that. So, I like the fact that you can do these in all different shapes and sizes. So that's exactly the same size piece of paper that we used for both of these, but we've got the stumpy kind of one, or this very kind of sleek narrow long one, and then which was the one that I did, was that the one that I did using more or less half the sheet of paper? I don't know. But yeah, so now I'm just going to glue down my flaps. I mean, like I say, the gluing of the flaps, that's an optional thing. You might prefer to keep your flaps unglued, because you might prefer to have them as like secret journaling space. I think I'm going to glue them all down, but we shall see. So what I'll do, I just kind of like do, say, 3 or 4 at a time, and then press them down, and then do another 3 or 4 at a time and press them, I think. So like that. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that one looks really good, Heretic. Then there's another film which, I really want to see. It's called The Juror. Now, oh no, sorry, The Juror 2. I don't feel like I've seen The Juror 1, but I'm guessing that they don't really kind of follow on from one another. I don't think they're probably like, the same story or anything, so I don't think they're like a sequel or anything, that you'd had to seen the first one to be able to enjoy the second one. So again, I've watched the trailer of this and it looks really good. And what really has excited me about it is it's directed by Clint Eastwood. Oh, I've glued that one down already. Directed by Clint Eastwood. Now I'm just going to stand my stapler on these just so it's helping to, keep them glued down. Directed by Clint Eastwood, and his films tend to be really quite powerful films, I find normally, you know, kind of like a powerful story that, you know, that stays with you and you keep thinking about them for days afterwards thinking, oh, that was a good film. So I feel like it's going to be one of those. Yeah, so definitely want to go and see that. Weirdly, again, I Googled him to see how old he was. Oh, gosh. I feel like it said 91. Oh, I hope I'm not misquoting. You know, so far misquoted all sorts of stuff this video. But, yeah, I feel like it said 91. I'm sure it was 90 something anyway. Which, oh my goodness, can you believe it? He's still producing movies at 91. And, you know, obviously I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, by the trailer, it looks pretty good. You know, still producing really good, watchable, brilliant movies. I mean, wow. He is definitely, you know, yeah, like an inspiration, I suppose. You know, to still be able to be working and producing brilliant films is pretty incredible, isn't it? So, yeah, again, let me know if you've watched any of those films, because, yeah, I'd love to know if you have and what you thought of them. Or have you seen the trailers? Are you planning on going to see them, you know, as I am? Did I glue these? Oh, no. Got to do my assembly lining. So, yeah, let's get back onto the assembly lining here. Yeah, let me know. Have you watched those films? Are you going to go and watch them? Have you seen the trailers? What do you think to Hugh Grant? What do you think to Sylvester Stallone? You know, what do you think to Kate Winslet? All of those brilliant actors, aren't they? And yeah, very watchable. There we go. Right. Okay. So aside from that, have I done anything else? No, I don't think so. Oh, I do want to say a massive thank you to somebody who she said that she had cooked a soup and she left the recipe. Now, I screenshot her recipe so that I could mention. So let me just find that and say thank you for the recipe. So, yeah. So it was, I hope I pronounced this okay, Carol Bison or Bison, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, 5242. So thank you so much for that inspirational recipe. I followed your recipe. I tweaked it slightly in that she did, I'm going to read you all the recipes so that if you wanted to try it, you could. She had a butternut squash soup. Now, I hate cutting butternut squash. And sometimes you are lucky enough to be able to buy it ready cut. I couldn't get it ready cut, so I used, it was a ready cut carrot and swede mixed bag, so I used the carrot and swede mixed bag. So then it was a pepper, so she used butternut squash and carrots, I used swede and carrots. Okay, a pepper, a head of garlic, an onion and a few tomatoes. So again, the only tweaks that I made was obviously exchange the butternut squash for swede, and then the other thing that I did was, instead of fresh tomatoes chopping them up, I used a tin of tomatoes. And then she roasted those vegetables, so I did the same. I just roasted my vegetables, and then she put them in the blender with a bit of vegetable stock. So I did exactly the same. Now, the only changes that I made again was put the vegetable stock in and then also put some cumin in. And then I cooked it a little bit more on the cooker with some soya milk. So I'm sure normal milk would work just as fine. I just, you know, I happen to have soya milk. So that was what I used, and cooked it, you know, down quite a bit kind of thing. So it was quite, you know, thinned out, because obviously at first it was very thick soup. Oh my goodness. It was so delicious. It was lovely. Yeah, obviously at the end I just put some salt on the top, and then I sprinkled over some garlic granules not too many, but just a little bit of garlic granules. Oh, and the other thing that I also did was I just put some cashews in there when it was in the blender, just so that it had a bit of protein in it, because I wasn't having, you know, I wasn't having like a cheese sandwich or a meat sandwich or anything like that with it. So I wanted to have, you know, a bit of protein actually in the soup. Oh my goodness, it was so yummy, and there was enough for 2 evenings. So we had the soup for two evenings on the trot, which was absolutely lovely. So thank you so much, Carol. Really appreciated your sharing your recipe, and yep, I felt inspired to obviously make it myself. I have talked before, I love homemade soups, and yeah, just yummy. And when it's cold weather, I mean, can you honestly think of anything more delicious than a homemade soup in the cold weather? I mean, yummy. That's just like literally lovely, isn't it? So yeah, really loved that. So thank you so much to Carol. And while we're on the thank yous, just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who purchased anything from my shop, either my Etsy shop or my physical shop recently. I really appreciate it. I have put a couple of journals onto my website this week. I spent the whole weekend, I just worked really all weekend, finishing off projects basically. So I managed to complete 2 journals that have been like half finished for a while. I've still got loads of other things that I'm in the middle of finishing off. So yeah, I've got a few more journals that I need to finish off and things, but so far I've completed 2 journals and I've put them into my shop on my website, so they're on there. What else did I do? I've restocked the printed paper pads. I've restocked the what do you call them, the scrap paper bundles as well. So yeah, lots of things have been restocked. I will be putting more stuff in there probably around Wednesday or Thursday of this week, so keep your eyes peeled if you know, if you're looking for anything, you know, and you fancy kind of like getting anything from my shop. It should be on there by the end of the week. So yep. Yeah, but the journals, obviously they're on there now if you know, if you were looking for any journals. And then yeah, I'm working on another digital at the moment, which it's really exciting me. Yeah, I'm not going to say what it actually is, like the, you know, the theme of it, but I really hope that it will be like a really lovely one that will be really well received. So yeah, I'm very excited by it. It's just got quite a unique theme to it that I haven't seen anyone do anything like it before, so I really hope that you will really love it. So got quite a bit more to do on it yet, so probably be a while before it comes out, but yeah, I've been working on it, and I will do my best to get it finished as soon as I can. But yeah, so thank you to everybody who has placed an order at all recently. Thank you also to anybody who's left a super thanks on my YouTube channel, or bought me a coffee on my Ko-fi or my Buy Me a Coffee page. I really appreciate it, and yeah, really grateful. Thank you so much. Oh, what was the other thing? Oh, I don't know now. Can't think. Oh, I hope that you're all going to join me in wishing Margaret over at 7 Plaza all the best. She has been having some health issues. Now I have to say, I haven't watched her latest video for the update, so, you know, I don't know quite what the latest is with her. But yeah, Margaret, if you catch this video, I really wish you all the best, and yeah, sending lots of love and kisses to you. Lovely lady, I hope that you're doing okay. Okie dokie. Oops. Right, just taking some of my labels there because I thought they would be rather nice to put onto the you know, the faux front envelopes. So yep, let's just pop them on. Okay, and yeah, probably use my blendy tool. So, okay. And I will be putting some more of the fussy cut pieces, not fussy cut pieces, but the fussy cut packs that you can cut yourself. Touchwood, yeah, I think, you know, they were quite well received. And, you know, I know that lots of you have been asking for me to do some stuff like that for a while. I just need to kind of, yeah, be able to buy some more paper. So I, yeah, might have to wait and do that in a week or so. But yeah, I will be putting some more of those fussy cut packs in because touchwood, you know, you were kind of liking those. So yep, keep your eyes peeled for those. As soon as I buy the paper, I will obviously put them in. Oops. Can't see which is the right way and the wrong way of the lace. Oh my goodness. Okay. There we go. Okay. Put that on. And the other thing is, it's been a long time since I did my beginners junk journal series. You know, that was, yeah, maybe like 2 years ago now. And I had such a lot of fun filming that. So, you know, please share below. Obviously, you know, a lot of you are seasoned, you know, journal makers, and I'm sure wouldn't need a you know, beginners series at all. But, you know, I'm aware that obviously there are, you know, people joining our community all the time who are maybe new to this hobby. So yeah, let me know below if you saw that beginners junk journal series, which, I mean, we went to the shops and bought some stuff and things. You know, it was a really fun series. Let me know below. Would you like to see a series like that again? You know, something sort of similar. You know, obviously if you wouldn't, that's fine too. But yeah, let me know kind of what you think. Just because I've had quite a lot of comments recently from people who are, you know, newbies in our community. And obviously, like I say, it was a good couple of years since I did that series. So, you know, there's kind of people coming through all the time who perhaps would, you know, appreciate another beginners series. Now, these flowers, I've had these for a long time in my stash. Can't remember now the brand of these. I feel like they might have been... Is there a brand called Little Birdie? I think there's a brand called Little Birdie, and I think that's who these were. And I'd, you know, coveted them for a long time in the shops, and I've talked about these before. And then I finally, you know, purchased them, but they've got these really bulbous kind of middles to them, which are like these pearls, which are, I think, just like glued together, but they might be stitched, but I think they're glued. So it makes them very bulky to use. So when I tend to use them, or when I use them, what I tend to do is just pick the middles out and then replace them with a flatter, flatter middle. But, you know, obviously you can use them however you like, but there we go. Okay. I love that one. That is so pretty, isn't it? Don't you just absolutely love those colours together? Really stunning. That kind of deep burgundy, I don't know about you guys, it's not really a colour that I particularly have used before in, you know, in a journal kind of situation. So yeah, just really, really has a gorgeous effect, you know, and very, very different to anything else that I've done or used. Right, so for this one, I've got some of my labels, and this is the Avery in the pinks and the blues, but I think it would go very nice. So this is my framed labels. Is that what they're called? Framed labels? And I thought this would go really quite nicely on here. So isn't that gorgeous? So I'm just going to ink this up a bit. Okay, like that. And then, oh my goodness, how gorgeous is that Or should we have the label to the side? No, I'm going to have the label in the middle. So, and what we could even do is we could even put the label on as a pocket. So just gluing it on three sides like that. Okay, pop that onto there like that. So now what we've got is we've got the faux envelope flip down, and we've also put a pocket now on there as well, like that. So that just makes it even more, you know, I was going to say storage space, but you know, kind of potential journaling space, I suppose, like that. And then pop this down, pop that there. And then I wonder, let me just have a look and see what lace I've got. I just disturbed bow opening my drawer there. Like, what's going on? No, that's a bit wide. Oh, I don't know now. Maybe that one's not too wide. Oh, I don't know. I wonder if that was the one I used earlier for the other one when I did the prototype. It must have been. Weird. Looks really wide now. Right, I'm just going to ink this because I think it would look better being inked up than being white. There we go. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? So we'll just take that down there. Okay. Oh my goodness, isn't that so pretty? Love, love, love how that looks. And then now, what should I put on the lace? Do we think, just got these cute gems. Do we think like a little gem? Oh, very annoying. My black bling, I'm not sure where it is. I don't think I've actually got any anywhere on the desk. I'm just seeing, oh, I have. Oh, it's just brilliant, isn't it, when you've just got things laying around. Okay, let's just have a look. Right, do we think the black bling, for some reason that one's not very shiny black bling, is it? That's weird. Put that there. I wonder if I've got any more laying around somewhere. I mean, I probably have. It's just, can I find it in time so that you're not just all sat around bored watching and waiting for me to actually locate it all. Oh, I do have a little flower there, actually. Oh, that's not bad. Let's put that flower on. So I'm just going to glue the lace down like that. Okay. Like that. Okay, and then we'll just glue the flower. That might be a bit big. I have got these in a little smaller size. That might be better. Otherwise it's maybe a bit monstrous. So yeah, let's just pop that on there. Like that. And then we'll just put that wax seal on. Now, to put the wax seal on, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a bit of paper and just put it underneath. Just so that if I am messy with the glue, it catches it. So let me just grab a little bit of paper. Okay. Just so that if I, you know, happen to kind of like get the glue everywhere, it doesn't just glue straight onto the lower part of the envelope, if you see what I mean. It's just going to glue it here. So like that. Oh, and of course it was Halloween, wasn't it, last week? So yes, I forgot that. So it was Halloween. Now, my daughter over the, well, probably last month, she's made numerous different plans with different people. And then, you know, suddenly then, oh, Santa can't do it now. She's doing it, you know, with her family. Oh, she can't do trick-or-treating now. She's, you know, she's with her dad that night and various different things. So, yeah, having gone on and on about it for like weeks on end, you know, it got to Halloween and I thought, oh, great, now she's not doing anything, you know, which obviously that felt really horrible because she'd been really looking forward to it and very excited. But, anyway, she thankfully on suddenly Halloween night she got, well, Halloween afternoon, she got invited for a sleepover. So she went and did a sleepover with her friend and they went trick-or-treating. Now, I did say to her, would you like mummy to come? You know, oh, no. Oh, that's just embarrassing. No. I said, I think her mummy's going, you know. No, that's just embarrassing, mum. No. Yeah, she wouldn't let me go. I mean, oh my goodness, what does it come to when they just won't even let you go? It's just like, oh gosh, we're already at that stage. I mean, she's not even 11 yet. Already at the stage where I'm just too embarrassing to actually be seen with. Like, oh, it doesn't really bode well, does it? What do we think to that? I mean, that wax seal, I obviously put a lot of gold paint on by accident, really. But, I mean, I do quite like it, to be honest. What do you guys think? Oh, let's go for it, shall we? So, again, just put that on there. Just pop some glue onto here and then glue onto the end of there as well. There we go. Okay. Yeah, anyway, she wanted to get a costume, and to be honest, they're really expensive. So I just said, well, you know, I've got an old costume that you can use, like a fancy dress that you can use. Now, would you believe I then couldn't find it? Oh gosh. Yeah, who knows where it's gone, but anyway, I couldn't find it. So I thought, oh, brilliant. So that was the only blessing in disguise, was then when it was looking like she wasn't going, I thought, well, that's a bit of luck because I actually can't find my costume now. Anyway, then suddenly when she was going again, I was like, oh, well, she is going. But now these are my new vintage desk. Yeah, the vintage desk papers. And I'm just going to take this landscape one, I think, and we'll just use this on one of these. Yeah, so I thought, oh gosh, you know, I don't believe it. And then when she wasn't going, I thought, oh well, probably just as well, really, because I've got no costume. Anyway, thank the Lord, she's very you know, ingenious with her kind of like coming up with things. So she said, I'm going to go as a leopard, you know, like a sort of scary cat. So I thought, oh, that's going to look rubbish. Anyway, she did her face paint. She did it the night before to like practice and show me. Even though at that point, you know, she didn't realise that she was going anywhere. You know, her plan number 6 hadn't fallen through at that point yet. Oh, look. Now this is going to be too big for any of them. Oh, no. Cut that out and it's now too big. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, that's such a shame. Right, let me go for another one. Yeah, anyway, so she said, oh, I'm going to go for a scary cat kind of look, you know, scary kind of leopard. So she did a practice run of her makeup. Now, she didn't have face paints or anything like that, so she did it with regular makeup. Oh my goodness, it looked amazing. And then I've got this kind of like leopardy type print jacket, and she wore that just with some black leggings and a black top. It looked so brilliant. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but she did such a good job. You know, really, really, really looked good. So yeah, bless her. I should have taken a picture, to be honest, and I could have shown you guys, but at first she did it and she was just a leopard, you know, and that looked pretty good. And, you know, then she said to me, oh, I'm going to make it scary now. So then she did like sort of blood around the eyes, and then these blood drips kind of thing coming all out of the eyes, you know. Oh my goodness, it just looked so cool. I was like, wow, that looks amazing. So yeah, she came up with such an ingenious little idea. So yeah, she looked pretty cool, to be honest. And that was all just done with normal makeup, not face paints or anything like that. So looked pretty good. I know I've said this before, but she's always like, oh, you know, she'd like to be a makeup artist. Although I said that to her the other day and she said she wouldn't. So who knows? They change their mind, don't they, on a daily basis. But she's pretty good. at doing makeup, I've got to be honest. Yeah, there's no way I could have made like leopard print marks all over my face. You know, she did it with eyeshadow and a little brush. It looked incredible, really. There we go. Right, and then this one. Now, what should we have on this one? Oops. Do we want the wax seal? Or we could have a gem. Oh my goodness, that's pretty gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, might have to have that one. Where's my book page that I've been using to glue these on? Oh, I don't believe it. I've now lost the book page. Oh. Who knows where that's gone? It was literally here just now, wasn't it? Oh, there it is. Right, let's just do that. Okay, I'm going to put it landscape because the you know, the envelope is kind of more landscape, so like that. Okay, my son, he went to a Halloween party on Saturday and he bought a costume from Amazon and he went as Phantom of the Opera. Oh my goodness, he looked so good. I mean, obviously, you know, he didn't have to do anything. It all just came as part of the costume. But yeah, it was a really cool costume. So yeah, he had a brilliant time. So yes, very fun costume, to be honest. You know, and quite cool for Halloween, wasn't it? Because it was a bit different. You know, I mean, I don't really think out of the box. If I'm doing Halloween, it's just, you know, just a witch or, you know, the regular stuff. So yeah, very boring, but that Phantom was pretty ingenious, I thought. Oh, now I did bring along these bright roses. I'm just going to take that little stem off from my bright roses, and I just wondered whether I might do that, and then got these also. These are from the Avery ephemera. So yeah, I've got a few. What about that one on there? I mean, it is quite big, to be honest, on that, but I don't think it matters. Let's just ink that up. Okay. Right. That's gorgeous, isn't it? So on this one, I might do the Velcro, you know, dot thing. So we'll just do this and I'll just open the flap up. Hope I don't regret doing that. Yeah, okay. So I'll just try and rub that glue off. Sometimes you can kind of like get rid of the hot glue, but sometimes it's easier than others. Oh, today's not going great. Just get rid of that. And get rid of it from this side. Oh, come on. Come on, come on. So what I'll do, I'm just going to ink this up so that when you open it, it's not just glaring white. And then I'm just going to put the Velcro dots, because we've got lots of room to play with on there. So just take the Velcro dot like that. And there. Okay. Now, do we want to actually glue it right down the bottom? We could, couldn't we? So put the Velcro dot on there rather than the flap, and then yeah, that's quite cool, isn't it? And actually you've got like a big space in there, so to be honest, and not that because it won't fit, but if you had something smallish, you could even thread that through there like a little pocket. So yeah, that's quite cute, isn't it? So right, well, we've probably done as many as we can do today in the video because I've now run over time. I'm not sure quite what the time is, but I did just see it was on 1 something on the clock. So let's count up how many that we did. So we've done complete ones where we've decorated as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's pretty cool already. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Wow, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? 25 of those we've done, which is absolutely awesome. So yeah, we've got a ton of those done, which I feel really, really happy with. So yeah, I really hope that you like them. Now, I just wonder whether I've got a journal here. Nope. Where's my journal that I've got half finished? Oh, come on. I'm not sure where it's gone. Not sure where the journal's gone. That was the one that I'm doing next as my finishing off projects. I was going to show you how it would look on a page. I'm going to have to just pretend now by pulling in. I'll just pull in this one, which we'll just pretend this is a journal page. Obviously, you could just glue them onto a page like that. You could obviously paper clip it on over there like that. You could obviously tuck them into a pocket. If you had a pocket on the page, for example, you could then just, you know, paper clip it on like that. So, you know, lots of different uses for these and ways that you can kind of like alter them and, you know, vary them. But they're just very, very yummy, aren't they? If you wanted to keep them completely plain, not even glue the flaps down and just have them as a little folding flip, that would be fine too. You know, they're very, very versatile and, you know, no less lovely for not being decorated. You could just do them in some plain coffee dyed paper. That also looks, you know, really charming too. So I hope that you like them. Like I say, I mean, obviously keep your eye out if you're, you know, wanting a journal or any of the other things that I'm going to be putting in my shop later on in the week. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the hour hanging out. Hope you were really productive and managed to make loads. Let me know in the comments below if you made them. How many did you make? And yeah, thank you so much for watching and really appreciate a big thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.